it's Arian with Rock Your Life with Arian Alexander, and this is your place to be for all things mastering your mindset, getting super inspired in your life by amazing people, having more fun, and of course, rocking your life. And you know how you might sometimes think that your happiness is dependent on situations or circumstances. Well, my guest today, Carla Maree Simpson, is going to turn that thought on its head. She is an inspirational and motivational speaker and an author on all things happiness. She's been spreading the message all around the world that happiness is a conscious choice. And we're going to actually thread that out so you can understand it today, that you get to choose happiness in every moment. And she's going to actually help you know how. Oh my goodness. Let's get happy with Carla Maree. Carla, all the way from Australia. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi.
I love that. Americans, we don't do that. What's our American version of that? Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi.
Have you been to Australia?
I have not yet. It's on my bucket list.
Yeah, it's an amazing place.
I know it looks beautiful, and I have friends that live there, and I cannot wait. I have really good friends who live in New Zealand, so I will be there soon. Once everything opens back up again. And yes, definitely. Yay. Well, I wanted to have you on today because you're so amazing in what you do for happiness. And of course, oh my God, coming out of COVID, through COVID, everything COVID, it's just like, it's so important what you do and the work you do in the world of cultivating happiness. So I thought it was perfect timing for you to be a guest today on my show.
No, thank you so much. And it's definitely needed in the world. It blows my mind how many of us are struggling at times. And life is a journey. So I always say we can never get happier. We always need to bring more into our life. And it's, that big decision to do that.
It's great. And so, with it being, we've had a year and a half of COVID, we're kind of coming out of it. You're in Australia. You just got locked down again. We've got these variants coming in. It's like a crazy time, right? For the last year and a half. So
it's so crazy. I would never have expected to live in a time like this. I never thought in my life that I'd have to wear a mask around, it is crazy.
Yeah, it's one of those things, of course, none of us ever expected, but I've seen everyone reacted so differently. Some people really kind of sailed through, and I had a lot of friends who had a really hard time. I made a huge move. I just moved from Los Angeles to Miami. I literally moved across the country. After COVID, I was like, I need to change. And, so there's lots of people are doing it differently, doing kind of life differently. And what have you seen with your clients and your friends and yourself, like this cultivating happiness, like, how did you support people in really staying positive through all of this?
I've seen lots of different things. So because I coach a lot of different people as well. So I've had a lot of people that have struggled through it, a lot of relationships that have been, rocky, let's say, because we're forced to live in a house together, work together, have kids running around. So I've seen that side of it. I've also seen people that have struggled mentally, just feeling lonely. Lonely is very hard at times for people. And, we, as human beings, we love to connect. So I've had clients that have felt very lonely. And then I've also had people like myself that have at times really enjoyed it. Sometimes you take things away from us and you realize how much you love it. And I've enjoyed myself, just having more time to do some things that I love to do myself. So longer meditations. And I really took the opportunity to embrace my own happiness system that I use with my clients, that I teach people, to really make sure that I stayed on top of it, on top of the game. And I think it also has taught a lot of people what we often attach ourselves to. So, we can often become attached to our business, or we think that business or our money is part of us. And yes, it is. It's, a big part of our life. But when something happens and you can't go into doing that every day, or you can't go and open your business because of this has happened, it's like, wow, what is my identity without me going to work or without that paycheck? Or so really, I've done a lot of work and healing work with people, just coming back to their roots of what brings them joy without all of the other stuff. Like, what can we do today, right now, that's going to make you smile and laugh and, feel better within yourself. So it's been a crazy journey. And we're all going through it. Like I still have to practice my own stuff every day. And because we in Australia, like where I am in New South Wales, we were pretty good. Like our life got back to normal. And then all of a sudden, 3 weeks ago, everything changed again.
Wow.
And we were like, I didn't expect it. I honestly, it blew me. You know, there was a few cases in Sydney, which is about an hour and a half away from where I live. And then all of a sudden, like people were ringing my phone saying, Carla, we're going to be in lockdown by the end of the day. And I was like, what? Because I don't follow all the stuff on the news the same. Like, and yeah, so it's been 3 weeks now.
Wow.
And so I guess in one way we've had the experience of it last year, so we know what to expect.
Yes.
But in another way, it's always like, oh my God, everyone thought that we had this shit sorted, and we don't. So now it's back to the roots and finding out how we can, without all that other stuff, can we be happy? That's my message. Yeah. We have to be happy without all the other stuff.
Well, it's great because you really help people cultivate that from the inside, like you say, without it being about what you do and how much money you have and what you look like and whatever, is because it is easy to attach to these things outside of ourselves. So how do you help someone who is in a changing place? It doesn't have the image of self that they once had. And, which I think all of us have in some way, like, because none of us live in a completely stable experience of life. Like the body changes, totally. The money changes, the husband or wife changes, the kids change, like things are in flow all the time. So how do you help your clients and, cultivate that sense of happiness from within?
Yeah, for sure. And I think like number one step is awareness. Sometimes we need to be aware that it's hard because we grow up in this world, and I was much the same for a long time, where we think that happiness comes from those things. So, we train to believe, well, I'm going to be really happy when I get married and I have 3 kids and I live in this big house on the beach and yay. Or I'm going to be happy when I, finish my degree or I lose those 10 kilos. And the thing is, those things we call, whatever we call them, they might give us a little sense of joy at the time, and but then life goes on and we want the next thing. So I think the first step is for each person is to become aware that we can't rely on other things to bring us happiness, because life is ups and downs, and if we're always relying on something else or someone else, we're setting ourselves up for failure. So I think that's number one.
So true. It's just a setup for failure, and that's so true, that a place of awareness of just acknowledging that, because sometimes people want to fight that. Like I have clients who are like, yes, but when I have more money, I will be happier. And when I'm married or I have the guy, I will be happier. Like they literally think like that is the truth. So how do you help someone who is like, really has that point of view?
Oh, totally. And it's hard because sometimes we're in that mentality. That's the way we are. But I mean, I have this client who's really money driven, and she's always like, I want more money. I want more money. I can't survive with what I've got. And she's only, she's got a good job. And I say to her all the time, so you get that money and then what? What's that actually, how's that going to change your day? Like if you just earned that extra $10,000 and you had that sitting in your bank account right now, in this moment, in this day, what changes? That you go and buy a coffee and you don't feel guilty about it? Like what's, so I think sometimes it's just like trying to break through the little barriers they have. And I'm an NLP practitioner, so I go through and I guide them through maybe changing some of these limiting beliefs that we think that everything's going to change when we get that. We've all had partners where we've fallen in love and we're like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. And then bam, we didn't see it coming. Like, oh my God, I did not see that coming. Like,
totally.
Because we get caught up in it. So I think like for people, it's just really learning and becoming an understanding. And for those people that have that limiting story, like how can we change your beliefs? Because that's a belief system and we need to start to cultivate and change. So, I work with them doing NLP, or we write our new stories, create new beliefs, really go down to the core of that and to where it comes from.
Yeah. That's cool. It's a really, and I get that. It's so really it's looking at the beliefs and then unwinding them. But of course the person has to be willing to, not
Oh, of
everyone's
course.
right willing, but it's like, so when you do have someone like anyone listening who, feels like you would like to cultivate more of an experience of happiness in your life, and you do feel there's an area that you're like, yeah, but if I just had this thing, and I'm sure we can all pinpoint something, I mean,
Oh, for sure.
I
We're
literally
human.
just like literally I just got right before this interview, I got these I just moved to Miami, so I'm like, I need new bikinis, and I was putting them on and I was like, if I just didn't have as much cellulite, I'd look really good in this bikini. If I just didn't have that little ounce of fat on my belly, then I would look at, and I'm that person who's like,
Oh, we
oh,
all
well,
are.
right.
I am every day as well, and that's why I practice my own stuff.
That's why you have to coach it.
I coach it. I practice it every day myself because we live in a world where we're bombarded by people telling us we're not good enough. We need this to be happy. If you buy that house, you're going to be so happy because the people on the adverts are like,
Yes. Yes.
So that is my message, is that happiness is a conscious choice we make every day. And like we, clean our teeth every day, we brush our hair every day, we need to make sure that we're doing our things within ourselves to make sure that we're cultivating as much joy and happiness today for ourselves, no matter what all that other stuff is telling us.
Ooh, it's so good because I love that. It's just because I think that there's an opinion out there that like you just are happy because of the things, and that it's not a conscious choice, that you just kind of are happy or you're not. And I
Totally.
love that you're like, no, honey, it's a conscious choice. And a perfect example of this is today. I have a great life. Like there's like nothing to complain about. But I was literally in the worst mood state, and I was like stomping downstairs in my building, and it was like raining, and I was like, oh my god, like everything was annoying me, and my mail, like I can't get my mail in my new place, and I'm just like annoyed at the postal system, and I'm annoyed at everything. And I just looked at myself, and I'm like, what am I so cranky about? Like there is like none of this is like life or death, right? But it's like those moments that we all have where we get tight and stressed and da da da, and it's like what I hear, and I had to like, I was like, okay, just go for a walk, get outside, like like let my mind clear, because I love that you're saying that it's a choice. Like so for me and my crankiness in the morning,
Totally.
like, that was a choice.
No, and I do it every day too. Don't worry. Like I have my moments. And then I end up laughing about it because I'm like, Carla, I can't believe you're so crazy like everyone else. But the thing with us and like yourself is you caught yourself in the act. So, you're cranky, you're angry, you're frustrated, and then you caught yourself and you said like, why am I so angry? So number one, you had the awareness. And then number two, you made a choice to change that. So like I talk about this a lot. It's really funny that people get so and I've done it, we've all done it, but we sit in a car and there's 4 windows around us. So we're in this like little box of a car, and there's people in front of us and they can't hear us, and then we're stuck in traffic. But everyone starts yelling at the people in front of them as if they can do something about it. And then when you stop back and you think, oh my God, I'm actually acting like a lunatic. But we get so caught up in it. So the number one is like yes, I'm aware that I'm caught up in this, world. Number two, what choice can I make differently? And number three for me is like, what can I do right now to bring more happiness and joy into my life and to start to shift that around? So it might, only be 1 or 2 little things. Like sometimes when you are having a bad day, like there's reasons to be having a bad day. But what I do with my clients is we go through in one of their first sessions and we really create their ideal day, and I add in all these different little pockets of joy. So something that you can do in like a matter of 5 minutes that is going to bring you joy. So for me, one of mine, and I write them up on the fridge. There's a list of a few. So one of mine is like to put the Spice Girls on. Because I know when I've got the Spice Girls on, Carla is dancing around. I love it. I'm 35 years old and it never gets old. So if I'm having a moment where I get frustrated or, tech issues or whatever it is, then I'm like, okay, Carla, well, you need to do something. You need to shift this energy. Go put the Spice Girls on and I dance around the house. So that's that's one of my ones. Or I love to read. So I'll be like, okay, time out. Carla's going to go sit in the corner, grab a coffee and have an hour of reading time. So it's just about bringing awareness to what brings you joy for number one as well. And then how you can add little pockets of that in your day.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. What, having the awareness and then what brings you joy and sprinkling that in each day. So it is a conscious choice. It's so cool. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. And this is perfect because our station is called Fun for Life Radio. It is all about having fun for life. The owner of our station is he is all about we got to live every moment and have fun and enjoy it. And that's what life's about. And one thing that's really cool about our station is that we have all kinds of things to make you happy. We have different DJs, DJ Basie and DJ Ceviche that have that kind of music that you can dance to and get happy. We have other talk shows. There's so many fun things on Fun for Life Radio. So hopefully anyone listening, you'll check out our other shows. And we'll be right back with more happiness with Carla Maree.
You're listening to Fun for Life Radio because it's time to get this party started again.
Okay, here we are back with Carla Maree talking about how happiness is a conscious choice. So very, very interesting. So what do you think also, we talked about having the awareness that happiness is a conscious choice. And then you talked about how to actually cultivate that, find out what brings you joy. Here's what I think. I think people don't know what brings them joy. So how do you help people? Okay, cool. So how do you help people? Tell me about this. Yes.
Well, I often ask people this question. So you see a child, right? And we say to the child, oh, we're going to go to the park today. And they literally get so excited. I have a nephew that starts to flap his wings. He gets so excited. Oh my God. Yes, yes, yes. Auntie Carla, let's go. When was the last time you flapped your wings?
It's been a while.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yes.
And I have a dog. I have a little puppy, Shaz. And every time I go put my shoes on, she's like, oh, at the door waiting. And it never gets boring every single day. She's exactly. And I'm like, what happened to us adults? We get so serious. Why are we so serious?
Yes.
Life is not meant to be so serious.
Yes.
So I like to ask people, when was the last time you flapped your wings? And really think about what excites you and what makes you laugh out loud and what makes you flap your wings. And it could be stupid. It could be going for a walk along the beach. I love to walk along the beach and listen to a podcast every morning. It really brings me a lot of joy. I'm laughing out loud or, I love to, just before COVID hit us, I was thinking, I've gotten too serious. There was some stuff going on here. And I was like, I need to laugh. I need to flap. So I booked to go to a theme park, and a flight to go to another state in Australia to go spend a day and a half at a theme park where I can go on roller coasters and just be a child. Something I ask people is, I'll ask you is, what makes you flap your wings?
Yeah, I love that. What makes me flap my wings? When you were talking about that, I was like, oh, it's dogs. I freaking love dogs. I literally am one of those people that I will stop at every dog and be like, oh my God, you're so cute. I just want to make out with you. Oh my God, I just want to hug you and kiss you and play with you. And I don't have a dog for various reasons, but so I am a dog lover. And when I lived in LA, I had I was Auntie A to some beloved dogs, but I don't have dogs here. And so I'm like, oh, I definitely miss that's when I flap my wings, is when I get to play with dogs.
Oh, I have a little puppy. I can show you her. She's just outside, but I'll show you her.
You need to bring her in so I can flap my wings.
Yeah, I will make sure that I bring her in, but obviously we're not going to open the door. But what else? So I always say to people, you need 3 things. So you need 3 things. You need to put it on your fridge. And every day you've got to do something that, makes you flap your wings.
Well, I love that. It's fun because in my building, I live in a high rise in Miami and everyone there's a lot of dogs, but I don't know the people. So I'm I don't want to be molesting their dog, but I guess I just have to. I have to start stopping and playing with these dogs totally. And
people molest my dog all day long. Honest to God, I cannot believe she gets stopped more than a newborn baby. It's her joke.
Oh my
and I
God.
just got her last time she was we got puppy groom. She had a puppy groom. The puppy groomer dyed her hair purple, and it was hilarious. She gets I laugh. I'm I love that people that. I always think about it I'm so glad that my dog can bring other people so much joy.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's such a great way to look at it. Oh my God, I love that.
totally.
Okay. So I'm gonna flap my wings at dogs. You know what else makes me really happy is it's so simple, but like I'm a hair and makeup girl, like I'm a glamour girl. So I love to like put on makeup, but I love to put on like glittery eyeshadow, like today, like I mean, it's COVID, like I'm not doing anything. I mean, I work and I work out, but I still like I stop myself from like putting on glittery eyeshadow because I'm like, oh, that's too much. Like it's like Tuesday, like that's
Oh,
why
sister,
would I?
go for it. Go for it,
Right?
babe. Would you see my lips? I've got pink lips. So I don't really
Yeah.
wear makeup, but every day I put on bright lips, either red or pink or purple, because it just makes me feel good. And
I
people
love
often
that.
say to me, Carla, where are you going? I'm like, nowhere. I don't need to be going anywhere. I just love when I put on lips. I feel sassy. I love it.
Yeah, that's cool. I think that's one of my flap your wings too. Is I just like to have all my like gold jewelry on, dripping with joy, and I can literally be because I'm in workout clothes all day. So that's where I like laugh. I'm like I'm in workout clothes with like full makeup and like all my jewelry. But like, what if I didn't care?
Well,
And I
that's
think
it.
that's
What if?
right.
Yeah, that's
like
exactly
what if I
the
didn't
point.
care? Yeah,
You've got
and
the other voice inside your head. So we have two voices, the one that cares and the one that doesn't care. So don't listen to that voice. Just go, yeah, who am I? I am going to be wearing my glitter stuff and I'm going to rock it. Kids don't care. Look at the kids. They're wearing our tutus. They've got bows in their hair. They're wearing odd socks. They don't care.
Yep.
And we all actually stop and go, oh my God, they're so cute.
It's so true. When I see those little girls on Instagram and like all their sassy outfits, I'm like, well, A, that's how I dressed when I was a kid. And so I go, oh my God. And I'm like, B, like what happened to that part of me that allowed myself to dress like that? It's because I got to be a stuffy old adult. Mm-hmm. It's what you're speaking to. So I hear what you're saying of like, you've got to find those things in your life that maybe they did excite you when you were a kid or younger and you stopped because you're like, oh, I'm an adult and I can't do it anymore. And you're like, screw that. Like if it makes you happy, do it.
Yeah, totally. Totally does. And something I love to do is bring more awareness to people about smiling, because kids, they're always smiling. They're always smiling. And us adults, we never smile. We never laugh out loud. So to say to people like, what's wrong with walking around smiling? Show your teeth. And when you think about a person that's either positive or negative, who do you rather hang around? You see that person that's always complaining and always moping and never smiling and you think, oh my God, get me away from them. And then you see that person that's always so bubbly and fun and, so much fun to be around. And you're like, oh my God, I love hanging out with them. So that's what we all want to be. We all want to be that fun person. So then stop being so boring and start smiling and laughing.
That is the message of this interview. Stop being so boring and start smiling and laughing.
Totally. And I say that to people and I say like, the word busy, people, we are busy. We are all busy. But I always say that word busy is so boring. It's like it's become this new badge of honor. Like, oh, I'm so busy. I've got 5 podcasts recording and then I've got 3 clients. Like busy is boring. We choose to do what we want to do. So make it fun. Like when people say to me, oh, Carla, you're so busy. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm choosing to do what I do because I love it.
Yeah, that's so good. It's so good. The thing about smiling and laughing with people is it's very interesting because I grew up with my mom is like she's the funniest person and she talks to anyone and she says whatever she wants and makes people laugh all the time. And sometimes it's like over the line, it like crosses over and that's where I get embarrassed. I'm like, oh my God, Mom, stop it. But she doesn't care. She doesn't even notice it. And she just has so much fun in her life and people like crack up strangers all the time. And so I grew up watching that. So I'm very much like that. I'm very extroverted. I'm always like, I'm that girl who's like smiling and laughing and like I laugh out loud and I don't care, whatever. But even I find myself, how do I say it? Like dampening that, even the amount that I am that I even feel myself closing down on that for properness, basically.
Oh, totally. And I do exactly the same. We all do, because again, we're growing up in a society that tells us that busy is good and that being, we've got to be serious because we're adults, but we don't have to be serious. It's boring.
I laugh because I'm single and I'm I'm a middle-aged lady, and I always am like, why are these guys so fucking boring? I'm like, as I get older, I'm like, when did everyone get so fucking boring? And so like I date
Totally.
younger because I'm like, they're more fun. So I'm laughing because I'm like, you're right. Like it's like, oh, we gotta be serious because we're adults and all this bullshit. And I'm like, oh my God, enough with it.
Yeah, and the thing is, we only get like one chance at life, so why not enjoy it? Like, honestly. And I always say this to people, like, a serious question I ask people, and I'll ask you and your listeners, is like, ask yourself honestly and seriously if you're really happy, and not just happy because, yeah, you've got that job or you've got that boyfriend or whatever, but like deep down, are you truly happy? And are you laughing out loud a lot? Because we're human beings, we're meant to connect, we're meant to laugh. And if you're not, then that's where your number one job is to start to shift that around and make yourself happy. Because the moment you step into your own true happiness, the moment you can help other people, you'll know you'll succeed more in life because you're actually being your authentic, happy self.
Yeah. I have my background is I have a master's degree in spiritual psychology, and that's
awesome.
where all my coaching kind of sprung from. And the teachers there, one of the things they always would say is outer experience is a reflection of inner reality. So I'm going to say that again for anyone listening. Outer experience is a reflection of inner reality. So this is what Miss Carla Maree, the fabulous, amazing happiness expert and coach, is sharing today, is that outer experience is a reflection of inner reality. So when you're truly happy on the inside, that is going to be reflected to you from the outside. It doesn't come the other way around. It doesn't start with the guy or the girl. It doesn't start with the job. It doesn't start with the money. It doesn't start with the body. And then you get happy. Outer experience is a reflection of inner reality. So as you cultivate that and that conscious choice of happiness within yourself to stop being such a boring adult, you're going to have more happiness reflected to you. And like you just said, that's when things open up.
Oh, totally. Totally. And you're going to start to enjoy life so much more. And, life it's not the days that we remember in our life, it's the moments. So, enjoy the moments, bring more happy moments into your day, put on the Spice Girls, dance around, get those dogs and start smooshing them. Wear your gold glitter. Who cares?
So you must have, in this journey, you must have had a shift in order to be this person who's coaching around this. So what was your shift or your bottom, or what was that?
I, like most people, was living a great life. I had nothing to complain about. And I actually thought I was happy because I didn't know any different. I was, and I mean, my first part of my life, I spent backpacking and, I traveled the world for 4 years, and I saw some amazing things. I went to amazing countries, worked in orphanages. So I got this really big life experience. And when I landed back in Australia, I was unaware of what I wanted to do. And anyway, I got caught up. I opened my own business, and as much as I love that, but I got caught up in, like majority of people, in really rushing and in hustling to get this business off the ground. My life became that business. And I was so caught up, I call it the treadmill of life. Get up, have a shot of coffee, go to the gym, do a workout, get to job, do 8 hours of work, to then get home, to then have a quick dinner, to maybe watch a bit of TV if I was lucky, to then go to sleep and then wake up and do exactly the same thing the very next day. And I was just so caught up in this treadmill. It was getting faster and faster. And, I was doing well. Like nothing was wrong with that. But I had just forgotten how to be smiling and how to laugh. And I was using that word busy a lot. And I remember my friends saying to me, oh, Carla, we didn't ask you to come on Saturday night to, dinner or whatever because you're always so busy with work. And I was like, whoa, I don't want to be busy with work like that. How boring. And it sort of started, these little hints were starting to get me, but I still hadn't woken up yet. And then I went to a yoga class, and now I'm a yoga teacher and I love yoga, and yoga changed my life. But at the time I hated yoga. And I went there because I had a sore knee, and I was needed to do some stretching, the physio said. And I was laying on the yoga mat, and I still remember the teacher in Savasana. So when we're laying down at the end, the teacher says, okay, so it's now time to turn off the voices inside your head, so that monkey mind. And if you don't think you've got the monkey mind that's telling you that you need to do this and that you should be looking like this, then guess what? That was a monkey mind that just told you that you haven't got the monkey mind. And it was in that moment, like my eyes literally popped out of my head. I thought, oh my God, I have a monkey mind. I have this mind that's consistently racing and telling me that I need to do this, that I need to achieve this, that I'm not good enough and blah, blah, blah. And that was sort of the start to the shift to me understanding that I had another voice. And I started to delve into yoga, to meditation, to a lot of healing modalities, and discovered that, I have this inner critic, this inner voice, who's always there every single day. And I don't need to listen to that. I don't need to be that serious adult. And that was a big start of my journey. And then I made these big changes within my own life. So I was just like, okay, so I don't want to be serious. I don't want to be this boring person. What can I do every day? And I started to cultivate this within myself. And then after probably 5 or so years of doing it myself, and I just become a new person, I was feeling so great. My life was, really doing well. I have 2 businesses. I bought a place and was traveling the world. I've been to over 52 countries. People started to ask questions. Oh, Carla, like, why? What are you doing? How do you do all this? How can you travel again? And how can you go and spend a month here? You've got 2 businesses. And then, I've always been a very big lover of self-development, and it was a few coaches along the way that said to me, you need to share this with other people. So I launched my podcast first, and then, I became a coach, and then I wrote my own book. And I just really want to help other people feel happy, because it's awful that we live in this amazing world that we're gifted with, and for this short time in our life, and a lot of people are feeling not so good.
Yeah. Wow. You're so needed. That's so interesting. I love that you were living it, that you had that moment of realization and awakening, and then you were living it. Then you found your own cultivation of happiness.
And believe me, I still live it every day. I still live it every day.
And I think that's really important to, for anyone listening to hear that, like, Carla's the happiness expert, but even she has to still cultivate every day and make it a choice.
Oh, totally. I've meditated this morning. I've done my yoga. I'll go for my dog walk today. I'll put on my Spice Girls. Like, I've got a list of 10 things that I do every day. Obviously some days things are different, but most days people know where they're going to find me. At 1:30, they'll find me sitting down reading a book in the sun with a coffee, because that's one of the things I love to do. People know,
That's amazing. Oh my God, it's so fun. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and maybe we'll put on some Spice Girls and do a little dancing on the break, and we'll be right back. This is Rock Your Life with Arian Alexander.
You are listening to Fun for Life Radio, because everyone should be vaccinated against boredom.
Okay, we're back. And if you haven't listened to some of our other talk shows here on Fun for Life Radio on the Dash Radio Network, we are so honored to have so many great music shows and talk shows. And one show that I love is Dana Buckler's show called Hollywood Unfiltered. He takes you behind the scenes with producers, directors, writers, actors, all things Hollywood. And like, who doesn't want to learn about the behind the scenes of Hollywood? So check out Dana Buckler's Hollywood Unfiltered. And I'm back here with Carla Maree, our happiness expert. And I think it's pretty amazing what you're sharing with us today, just about how to really find your things that you love to do that make you happy. And first of all, is the awareness that it is a choice. It's just like confidence. It's like, because I coach a lot around confidence with my clients, and people are like, oh, well, you were just born confident. And I'm like, yes, I had some confidence, but I had to cultivate that muscle of confidence always. And it's the same thing with happiness, as I'm hearing you say it. It's like, some people maybe are born a little more happy, but all of us have the opportunity to experience more happiness in our life. But it's just like a muscle. It's just like going to the gym. You have to do it. You have to be consistent. It has to be a conscious choice. And I think that's not taught.
Totally. And that's what the biggest thing is. Like, at school, we don't learn how to be happy. No one teaches us, that happiness isn't just going to happen, because life can be really tough.
Yeah.
So we need to teach ourselves, and that's what I do. Like, I teach people, I go back to the basics, and I teach people how to be happy. And that's my whole coaching program, my whole retreats, is what can we do to find what happiness means to you? Because the thing is, what brings me happiness and what brings you happiness is going to be completely different. So we really need to, go through and unravel what brings you happiness, and then make sure that we add that into your life and get rid of the things that aren't bringing you happiness. So I'm big on that, decluttering and, getting rid of that garbage that brings you down. People that you hang around, there's so much to do with the way that you show up in the world. It's not just you as well. Like, yes, it's your choice, but it's also how you choose to spend your time, where you spend your time,
Yeah, it's so true. And I see that with friends. I'm lucky because I have a group of really conscious friends. But when I'm around somebody that, for instance, I have some friends who probably don't like hanging out with me as much because they'll be like, oh, this guy, he did this thing. Can you believe he did this thing? And I just sit there and I'm like, I can't be like, you're right, girl. He's terrible. I can't believe he did that to you. Oh my God. Like, I'm not that person. I'm going to be like, what's your part in this? Like, he didn't really do anything. Like, where are you? And I think so some people don't like that. Like, they don't like kind of the reality of like,
because they're playing the victim. They're playing the victim.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He did me wrong. And so I see this. So I think you're right. It's like who you hang out with is so important. Of like, if you want to hang out with people who are in that space of like gossiping, like I can't stand gossip. I'm like, oh my God, seriously.
Drives me crazy.
Right. So if you don't want to hang out with that, then you've got to shift within yourself how you're going to be with those people and not engage with it. Or you're going to need to find some new friends, basically.
Oh, totally. And I think that COVID's been a great way to do that, because we've been forced to spend more time by ourselves. We don't have to go to those things we're obliged to go to that we feel we have to go to. So what I really help people do is like teach them how to say no, and it's okay to say no. And then like write out all the people that you normally hang around, and are they someone that brings joy into your life? Like after you leave the coffee with them or the walk with them or your meeting with them, whatever it is, do you walk away feeling lighter or do you walk away feeling heavier?
That is such a good question to ask.
And it's the same as food, like do you walk away from that meal feeling lighter or heavier? Because often, we get victims of this. We eat stuff that we know we shouldn't because it's, again, just a reaction that we go to without making a conscious choice. So like before you make that choice, before you eat that food or before you go out with that friend or before you watch that on television, is this choice going to make me feel better about myself or feel worse? Lighter or heavier? Darker or lighter? Like there's so many different ways to, describe that.
Yeah, that's cool. So you really bring it into every choice, every intentional choice.
Totally.
Life
is about living intentionally.
Yeah, it's great. And one thing that I'm thinking of is in relationships and romantic partnerships, that there's this assumption that like we're just going to be happy, and if we're not, then there's something wrong. But like what I'm getting from this conversation with you is that it has to be an intentional choice to continue to cultivate that happiness with this person. Because what happens is, it all starts out puppies and rainbows and everyone's like, oh my God, it's amazing. And then like you say, like all of a sudden one day you look at them and you're like, wait, what am I doing? Oh my God. Like you haven't picked up your socks again. Like what's wrong with you? Right. And so what I hear you saying is, so what I see people doing is just thinking that just happens, like, oh, it just happens, or like, there's nothing I can do about it. But if you go into the relationship intentionally, daily, choosing into these choice points of happiness for each of you, or even just yourself, it's going to be a completely different experience.
Oh, totally. After 5 years of a relationship or 10 years, still, I always say to my clients, we should still be having a date night once a week. We should still be, doing things like consciously with each other as a partnership as well as your individual selves, because otherwise it does. It's the same as weight. Like if you unintentionally just keep eating, to KFC and McDonald's and packet food and that, whatever it is, over time that's going to, compound. So like we choose what we eat, like we choose how we smile, like we choose who we hang around, we have to choose how we show up in our relationships. And what do we do each day to cultivate that relationship? Because like everything else, it will get boring.
Wow, it's so good. Oh my gosh, it's just so powerful to take that empowering place of intentionally choosing all of your things, basically. And I get it that no one's going to be able to do it all at once. So how do you help people just kind of do a baby step at a time of this?
Yeah, so normally, like with my clients, we go on a 3-month journey where each session we do something different. So, the first ones are really finding out what's not bringing them joy, and okay, let's start to get rid of that. So, if it's our job, we set goals on, how can we create some changes, and then we add joy into our lives. So, like what I said to you, pick your 5 things that flap your wings and put them on the fridge. Make sure we're doing that. Each week we go through different things. We work through your limiting beliefs, and we add spices and color to your, you said you love wearing glitter or whatever. So how can you add a little bit more color to what you wear today? It might just be a bit of glitter on your lips. It doesn't have to be the whole thing. Or in your relationships, what can you do today to show your partner that you're here, that you're here and you're awake? Cooking his favorite meal or whatever. So like anything, it's a journey, and it's a compounding journey. So we just teach you the tricks each day, and my book does the same thing, how we can add more variety and spice and color and laughter into your life.
And just throw on some Spice Girls for fun.
Oh, Spice Girls never fails.
Never fails. So your book is Find Your Happy, Say Yes to Life. And where can we find your book?
I can send you the link so you can have it in your show notes, but you can find it on all the books, the major book places. Also my website, Carla Maree, Simpson.com, everything's there. And always reach out. I'd love to hear about what you're doing to bring more joy into your life. Also Instagram, Facebook.
What's your Instagram?
So just Carla Maree Simpson. Yeah.
And you spell it Carla. Maree is Maree Simpson. And so definitely, I love it. And mine is at Ariane Alexander, just my name, Arrane Alexander. And I love it. And Carla would, I'm sure, love it if you message her and tell her that you heard her on the show. And tell me you heard her on the show. Yeah, it's so good. So I love that you like people to tell you how they're cultivating happiness, which is awesome.
Yeah. Oh my
God. Yeah. So fun. Okay. So I'm just going to do a couple lightning round questions for you, which I love to do at the end of these interviews. So Carla, what would you tell your 21-year-old self?
Don't be so serious.
Don't be so serious. Don't be a boring adult.
Yeah, and just do as much as you want, while you're young. And I was traveling the world then, so I was really living the great life. But yeah, if I looked back now on any of the past times in my life, it'd just be to laugh more, to smile more, and to tell as many people that I love them. Don't hold grudges. Just get on with it. Smile. Life's not to be lived.
Gosh, I love that. Tell more people you love them. That's so good. Okay, good. What do you do? What's the next thing in your day that you'll do for your happiness cultivation?
Well, I've got one client next, and then I will take my dog Shazza. Her name's Shazza, for a walk. So we'll go for our walk.
Well, so now I have to see Shazza. Yeah. You have to bring her in now.
Yeah, I will I'll just go open the door. Sorry.
Yeah, go open the door. You go open the door for Shazza to come in. Shazza, I'm going to see Shazza. You're listening, so you won't be able to see Shazza. But we're going to see this cute little puppy and see how happy she makes everyone. I'm already happy. Listen, look, I'm already laughing. I haven't even seen her yet. Let's see Shazza. Oh my God. Shazza is a little terrier. She looks like a mix of a doodle and a terrier. And she's like ivory and silver, and she's adorable. She looks like a little toy, a little stuffed animal. So there you go. That's happiness right there.
She's cute, eh?
Oh, she's very cute. She's very cute. I love that you brought her in so that I could see her for my own happiness cultivation. So if you're listening and you love dogs, just have the image of the cutest, sweetest dog you've ever seen, and that's Shazza, and then that'll make you happy too. Oh, she's my gosh. Poodle. She's a toy poodle. Oh my God, she's so cute. Oh, she's so cute. All right, Carla, this has been awesome to talk to you. I'm so grateful for you to be here. I feel so much happier. I know everyone listening is going to be feeling great after this. So thanks again. Happiness for all. Don't be boring.
Yes. And thank you so much for having me, everyone. It's been such a pleasure. And just have a laugh today, smile. And yes, don't be boring. Boring is boring.
All right. Bye, honey.
Bye. Thanks.